day today, you are going to be able to reflect stuff up over certain lines. Okay? So, first of all, a transformation is all these things that we've been doing. The translation, the reflection, we're going to be doing rotations for a couple days. Okay, I know. So, a transformation is an operation that maps an original figure called, do you remember what the original is called? Pre-image onto a new figure called the image. Okay, remember we had image and pre-image? A transformation can change the size, the shape, or the position of a figure. Okay? A reflection is a flip. So it gets flipped over a line called the line of reflection. Good try though. Very cool. Okay. Each point and its image are the same distance from the line of reflection. Okay. Different lines that we're going to be using to reflect. The x-axis or the y-axis. Okay, those ones are pretty popular. Also, vertical and horizontal lines. If you remember, vertical lines are x equals a number. Vertical goes which way? Okay. Yep. And y equals a number is going to be your horizontal line. Remember, your lines are opposite of your axes. Okay. Bless you. All right. And then sometimes, not as often, we'll use diagonal lines that are y equals x or y equals negative x. Alright, so we're going to start by graphing these. So the first thing that we need to do is graph the pre-image. Now, on some of your assignments, you didn't label your A, B, C, or your A prime, B prime, C prime, and you got docked for that. Okay, we talked about you have to label your points. Okay, so A is -4, 2. A, B is 4, 7. C is 5, 1. Right? Now, it tells us that we are reflecting over the x-axis. Okay, so I am reflecting over that line right there. Right? Okay, so now every point has to be equidistant from that line. Okay, so if I'm going to do my C, how far is it from the x-axis? It's 1. So on the other side of the x-axis, it needs to be 1 away. So C prime would be right there, which is 5, -1. Okay, how far is A from the x-axis? 2. So we just go 2 to the x-axis. 2 on the other side of the x-axis is A prime, which is -4, -2. Okay, and B is how far far from the x-axis? 7. So on the other side of the x-axis, it's going to be 7. So -7, right? So B prime is at -7. Okay, 4, -7. So on your gold sheets, okay, reflection over the x-axis, okay, it goes from xy to what? What happened? Did my x's change at all? No. So my x's stayed the same. What happened with my y's? Well, how did they change? They went to the negative, right? Okay, so on your gold sheets, all of your points are going to go from xy to x -y. Okay, you might want to put that on your gold sheet. That will help you. Okay, if you don't like to use this, you can always count. Okay. So we may as well start plotting your other points on number 2. So 1, 2 is B. Okay, so your x-axis is going to be xy turns into -x. Well, you can either do it that way, okay, which would be this. What is P? Well, P right now is 1, 2, right? So P prime would be x goes to -x, so x is 1. So we go to -1 and y stays the same for 2. So if I'm doing that over the x-axis, I'm going away. That's P prime. Or, okay, I can count it. Q is how many away? 2. So it has to be 2 away on the other side. 1, 2. Q prime is going to be -2. 5. Okay, so if I count R, how far is R away from the x-axis? Or the y-axis? 8 away, so it's got to go from +8 to -8. -8, 3. S is how far away? 7, so it's got to go from +7 to -7. It's going to be S prime at -7. 0 stays the same. Okay, so horrible when it's the axis? No? Okay. Let's go to number 5. This time we're using the line x equals 4. So here are my axes. Okay, I'm plotting 1, -1. This is J. K is 2, 3. And L is 3, -2. There's my triangle. All right. X equals -4. Horizontal or vertical line? It's vertical. It's opposite of your axis. Because x equals 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is right here. And then it's a vertical line through that. Okay, now there really isn't a cheat for this. Okay, you just have to count. Okay, so how far is J from x equals 4? It's 1 away, so it's got to be 1 on the other side of it. And what point is that? 5, yep, and then it's still -2. Oh, except that wasn't J, that was L, wasn't it? Sorry. Okay, J is how far away? 1, 2, 3 away from this line. Okay, so it's got to be 3 on the other side of that line. 1, 2, 3. And what point is that? 7, -1. Okay, and then K is how far? From there. It's 1, 2 away from that line. So you got to go 2 to the other side of the line. For K prime. Which is what? Or 6, 3. Okay, so you have to count those out. You want to do another one like that? Yeah. Okay, so let's do 6. Got 0, 3. R. X is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6, -1. T. 1, -2. 0. So what line am I using to reflect this time? Using what equals -1 though? X equals -1. So horizontal or vertical line? Vertical line, so find x equals -1. And you're going to want to draw that line. Okay, so R is how many away from that line? 1, so it's got to go 1 to the other side. For R prime, which makes it, what point is it? -2 stays at 3. Okay, S is how far away from that line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's got to go 6 to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. S prime is -7 over. U is how far from the line? 1, 2. So we got to go 2 to the other side. 1, 2. U prime is -3, -2. Oh, that was U. And T is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 away. So it's got to go 7 on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. T prime ends up at -8, -1. Okay, so a lot of counting today, right? All right, so the line y equals x. Okay, this one's on your cheat sheet. When I've got y equals x, x to y, those two -y, -x. Nope, sorry. I was looking at the wrong one. Y, x. It just flip-flops the coordinates. Okay, so I've got -5, -2, x, -3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, is y, z, -1, 1. Now, the line y equals x is this diagonal line right here. Goes through the origin and has a slope of 1. Yep, y equals x. Y-intercept is 0, so it goes through 0, has a slope of 1. So up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1 every time. Okay, so all I'm going to do is take my x and my y and flip it. So x prime is going to be -2, -5. Y prime is going to be 4, -3. And z prime is going to be 1, -1. Is x prime. 3 is y prime. And z is 1. And it's reflected over that line. Okay, so you're just flip-flopping them. Okay, and y equals -x. Okay, and you're going to want to add a little box at the bottom of your cheat sheet. That's reflection. What is it? In y equals -x. You're going to want to add that to the bottom. And this time is x, y. Goes to -y, -x. So it flip-flops them and makes them negative. Let's do the triangle one, because triangles are just many points. So -1, -6 is s. 0, -3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we have SU. Y equals -x is the same thing, goes through the origin, except for this time it has a negative slope. So it's that line this time. Okay, so if we flip these, right? If we flip them, I've got -6, -1, right? But I have to make them both negative so they become +6, +1. Right? If I flip these, I've got -3, 0. And then I have to make them negative, so it turns into +3, 0. And if I flip you, it's -4, 3, but I have to make them both negative, so it turns into +4, -3. Alright, so 6, 1 is S prime. 3, 1, 2, 3, 0. It's T prime and 4, -3 is U prime. Okay, so y equals x and y equals -x are kind of the hard ones, right? Okay, where you have to really look at your rules of what they are and do some flipping. Okay, so really you're just doing kind of 2 problems of each today. Okay, your assignment is just page 61.